Hello, and welcome to Growing Strong Roots, an occupational therapist's perspective on parenting, self regulation, and resilience. I'm your host, Lee-Anne Bloom, owner and occupational therapist at Overwhelm OT in Oakland, California. At Overwhelm, we provide holistic occupational therapy for children, focusing on increasing functional life skills through interest based learning and family involvement. As a mom and a therapist working with families for many years, I've seen firsthand how overwhelming it can be to raise sturdy children. My goal is to share science-based strategies, real-life stories, and resources that can help you nourish those roots so that you and the children in your life can grow stronger, sturdier, and more resilient. Let's root down together, water those roots so individuals and families can bloom to their fullest potential. I want to share something with you that we tried in our family that's been working really well. We call it Complaint O'Clock. It's a family ritual for emotional expression. It started as a way to support my son, who often feels discomfort or frustration with daily life. Like many neurodivergent kids, he experiences the world quite intensely and, as such, has a lot to say about it. As a busy parent, I sometimes feel overwhelmed or even agitated when he complains and it feels like they're piling up, and I feel like I don't have the time or bandwidth to really respond properly. I want him to feel heard and seen, but without sacrificing my own regulation. I would now say to him, save what you're saying for Complaint O'Clock. As a result of wanting to create a space for these complaints to be heard, Complaint O'Clock was born. To my surprise and delight, it wasn't just my son who needed this space. It turns out that all three kids, and the adults too, benefited from having a structured way of feeling heard. This practice allows for a safe container to have feelings be felt. It teaches active listening, social justice, and conflict management skills in a safe environment. So this is how it works. We set aside a short window of time, like 30 minutes to an hour, usually in the evening after one's eaten and feels a bit more settled. During Complaint O'Clock, anyone can voice their grumbles, complaints, or unmet needs. And we provide some guidelines to do that. First off is no rebuttals. When someone is sharing, they need to and get to be fully heard without interruption. We can check in to see if they're finished, but no one jumps in to defend or argue. So then we wait before responding. When the complaint is feeling contentious or someone's feeling defensive, we ask the receiver to hold their response for 3 minutes, giving them time to process what they've heard and give them an opportunity to respond thoughtfully. That pause gives listeners time to regulate their own reactions and respond in a mindful way, which reduces the likelihood of conflict. The wait time also makes sure that the person airing the complaint feels fully heard. We sometimes will set a timer for 3 minutes. Next, we ask them for what kind of response they want to hear. We call this the Triforce response. So after sharing, the speaker gets to choose what kind of response they want to hear. So first is just to listen. And that's like, I just want to feel heard. The second Triforce is empathy or support, like I need comfort or validation right now. The third Triforce is problem solving, and that could sound like I would like some help in figuring out a solution. This framework, adapted from the Multi-Amory podcast and book, has been a game changer in our house. So here's how it works. We set aside a short window of time, like 30 minutes to an hour, usually in the evening after dinner when everyone has a full belly and is a bit more settled. During Complaint O'Clock, anyone can voice their grumbles, complaints, or unmet needs. First, everyone is sitting together without any distractions. Phones and watches are on Do Not Disturb. And if someone needs a fidget or a snack, they can get that before we start. That's fine. It can be uncomfortable to communicate openly, so having some self-regulation tools nearby might be warranted. Second, we ask them what type of communication they would like to have when we're communicating about their complaint. We call this the Triforce response. And let me share a little bit about the Triforce of communication that was adapted from the Multi-Amory podcast and book. It's a way of communicating about what type of communication you want to experience, or meta communication. This is a tool that helps people communicate effectively, allowing each other to feel heard and relay what they need from that person listening. The Triforce of communication helps people identify and communicate the purpose of their conversation, or in this case, complaint. It divides communication goals into 3 categories. The Triforce. So after sharing, the speaker gets to choose what kind of response they want to hear from other people. Sometimes it's just to listen, like, I just want to feel heard. That'd be the first Triforce. The second Triforce is empathy or support, like, I just want comfort or validation right now. And the third Triforce of communication is problem solving, like, I'd like some help figuring out a solution. We also set up some guidelines. First off, no interruptions. When someone shares, they get to be fully heard without interruption. We can check in to see if they're finished, but no one jumps in to defend or argue. Second, wait. Before responding, when the complaint is contentious or someone feels defensive, we can ask the receiver to hold their response for 3 minutes. We will even set a timer, giving them time to process what they have heard and give them the opportunity to respond thoughtfully. That pause gives the listener time to regulate their reaction and then respond in a mindful way, reducing the likelihood of conflict. This framework has been a game changer in our house, and I highly recommend you try it in yours. So here's why Complain O'Clock works. Kids often want to be heard more than they want advice, but parents usually jump in to fixing. So Complain O'Clock creates a safe, judgment-free ritual where everyone can express themselves without interruption or pressure to solve things right away. This practice creates a container with a dual purpose. First, it's making sure that everyone has a chance to air their issues in a safe and nurturing space. And second, it's a mechanism for which the adults can reduce or even eliminate the complaining throughout the day. Just telling a child that they can't complain right now may feel invalidating, but if you tell them that they can be heard later this evening, just not right now, it can meet both of your regulation needs in the moment. The experience of sitting together, participating in active listening, also teaches emotional regulation, consent, and respectful listening. Kids and adults alike gain language for what they need, whether that's empathy, problem solving, or simply a listening ear. Providing a time for feelings to be heard and validated develops trust within the family. Vulnerability is important for building intimacy. For example, in one of these sessions, my stepson let me know that I was doing something that made him feel upset. It took him a lot of courage to share that with me. He was nervous, looking away, talking quietly. His body was telling me that this was really uncomfortable for him. And it took a lot of courage and vulnerability for him to speak up. For me, the adult receiving the feedback, this gave me an opportunity to acknowledge my part in creating the upset and own my mistake. This was really vulnerable for me too. Since then, I've been able to be more conscious about the way that I interact with him, and he and I are closer. Additionally, it helps me be a better person and improve how I respond when receiving negative feedback. I shared this concept with him from Maya Angelou. We do the best we can until we know better, and then we do better. That's what I want for all of us. In our home, this simple practice has transformed the way we communicate. Complaint O'Clock gives us the time, space, structure, and connection that guarantees that everyone gets to feel heard in a way that makes sense for them, one complaint at a time. It reduces the amount of complaints in a given day. It teaches conflict management and social justice skills. Give this a try in your house and let me know how it goes. Thanks for listening.